I'm Brigham Larson with Brigham Larson Pianos. We just finished up this piano. We've been working on this one for a long time. This is one of those pianos that has been in the shop and has just kind of been, you know, we've worked on it here and there, and it's kind of been a special sort of passion project. One of those. Complete rebuild. I'm going to show you the inside here in a minute, and I think the I'm going to say we've been working on it for 3 years probably. So as you'll see, at least I hope you'll agree with me. I think those 3 years were well spent, and it paid off. Built in originally Chicago. I couldn't find the exact year. I'm going to call it a 1903. And I did some research. I found out what I could find on a lot of these others, like a lot of these in this lineup here. I am able to pin it down to an exact year, but based on having been in the piano industry for almost 30 years and rebuilt many pianos like this, while I like I said wasn't able to get the exact year definitively based on my research and based on my experience, based on some clues, I'm going to call it a 1903, and that's I'm certain that that's correct within give or take a few years. But regardless, it's really a 2023, and because it's just been rebuilt. Okay, originally built in Chicago, and which was one of the piano building hubs of the time, and it is gorgeous. I love this cabinetry. I think it's just big and grand and regal and powerful looking, masculine in many ways. It's just kind of luxurious looking. New keys, new sharps. Of course, these columns I think those are called Corinthian columns. I'm probably wrong about that, but, and I'm going back to my BYU humanities class with Dr. John Green, circa 1999. When I say Corinthian, but I think that's what that is. And then we also have this matching bench, which is actually quite unusual to have a bench from 100 years ago. And it's, you know, of course refinished to match, and still even 120 years later, it's still super solid. That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's check out the inside. This is the exciting part. The part that I enjoy. This piano is every bit as beefy and heavy and tough as it looks. It was built like a tank. A lot of work went into this piano, redoing this thing. This is hundreds of man hours to redo all of this, and I just get excited looking at it. Okay, let's start with the plate. When the piano's totally torn apart, plate is what kind of more or less comes first. The plate, of course, this is not the original finish. It was completely sanded down and bondoed and patched and puttied and sanded some more. And this is an automotive paint, nice and shiny and smooth. These are kind of replica. You can see that's nice and shiny. That looks, I think, super cool. Replica little decal that goes there. And then these things here, these little, what do you call those? Little flourishes. And then up here, and this under here, there, down there. Those are, of course, they don't matter one bit, except they're just kind of period. Well, I guess you call it that. You just say they're period, and they just look cool. All of the bolts and screws and everything, those are all original, but we got a special technique to get those all polished up. Tuning pins, those are all new, nice and tight. Every one of the pins is torqued to between 100 and 120 pounds of torque. All the strings are new, bass strings and the treble wire, all of that's brand new. Hammers are new, and the dampers are new. And you can see the bridge cap there. You kind of look down. Right there, that bridge is new. Down here, we've got, well, the continuation of the bridge. So all of that is new. And then this bridge here on the bass bridge is new. The soundboard has been refinished, and these little dots there, that's where we've doweled the ribs back into the soundboard. Wherever there's any kind of separation whatsoever, we go through and glue that back together, but then we dowel it as well to ensure that that doesn't happen again, that we don't get any more separation. It's surprising how much of an improvement when that soundboard is brought back together, how much of an improvement that makes to the tone. It goes from sounding anywhere from just like a terrible, I mean, that doesn't sound musical at all. It sounds like a plywood or something. And then when it is all brought back together, everything's glued back together, you've got any cracks. I don't think this one had any cracks in it, which is actually really saying something for a 120-year-old piano. But when we do that, it goes from sounding like a table or a bench or a piece of plywood to sounding like a drum. It's really pretty fun to hear that. And then down here, the trap work, all of that has been rebuilt. This, we sand that down and clean all of that up, polish all of that, make it work perfectly. Is so deep and powerful. Sounds like a lion. Some serious power and richness. I don't know if it's, I mean, it's the piano. It doesn't hurt that it's in this kind of cubby, but it's like I can feel it in my chest. That's a cool sensation to play something. And that, by the way, is something that you absolutely do not get with a brand new piano in large part. I'm not sure exactly the reasons, but I would say a big reason is just the size. Pianos are not built to this size anymore. You scan over there and you can see the biggest pianos that are manufactured within the last, 50 years or so. They're what, about 52 inches tall, and most of them are 48 inches or even smaller. This one is 57 inches, and so I think that makes a big difference. Got some good sustain. Love this piano. That is a really special instrument. Come check it out. If you are into vintage pianos, this one I think would satisfy even the most picky connoisseur of vintage instruments. Thanks for watching.